Hi friends, welcome to my channel. So to achieve this beautiful style right here, this is the fabric I'm actually going to be making use of. Go ahead and fold your fabric in a triangular form this way. Find the point that when you divide your waist into four, it's actually going to accommodate that part perfectly. Just pay attention to what I'm doing right here. So I'm just dividing my waist into four and I'm just going to draw a straight line exactly this way. And when I was done with that, just go ahead from the tip point right there, just rotate it to meet that line you actually drew, just exactly the same way I'm doing like this. Just rotate it, and when you're done, connect the lines together. We're just trying to get that circle shape. Go ahead and then divide your waist into four again, and then do not forget to add your sewing allowance. The next thing we're going to be doing is to, from that point, go ahead and measure the length of your skirt. So the length I'm actually working with here is about 35 inches. Go ahead and then impute the length of your choice. And when they're done, just go ahead and, just join those dotted lines that you've had right there. My fabric is really, colorful, so this is not actually showing perfectly. But as you can see, there's a shortage right there, right? So on that shortage part, we're just going to, get like a piece of fabric just to fill in that empty space. So that's what I'm actually trying to do right here. I'm just trying to cut a piece of fabric and then just attaching it on that part so that it will balance up. And when you're done, just go ahead and flip your fabric, flip the skirt just so that you could see what's going on the other end, and then use that shape to actually cut this out. So can you see what I'm trying to explain? You just have to cut it following the line from the other side. And that is that for the front, guys. It's that easy. So that part, I'm actually going to sew it out. And so when you're done, you're actually going to be placing your front, fold your fabric again into two, and then you're going to place your front right there, leaving 1 inch for zip allowance. Just go ahead and arrange your fabric very well so you don't have excess or cutting mistakenly. So, and when you're done placing everything, just go ahead and then give this a nice cut. So the next thing is just to divide your zipper part into two, and just exactly the same way I'm doing like this. Just go ahead and divide it out. And the same shortage that we had in the front is also going to appear at the back, so go ahead and join that as well. So you can see, go ahead and join that as well. That is the excess right there, and I already gone ahead to join that. Can you see? So guys, to actually put your pockets, I'm actually coming down from the waist by 3 inches. That's from the side, and then from that 3 inches I'm actually going down again by 7 inches. Had already drafted my pocket out, so I'm just going to go ahead and place this on my fabric and then just cut this out. And when I was done, I'm actually going to have like 4 pieces right here from both sides. And I went further to also cut the band. So here I have my waist circumference plus about 2 inches extra for zip allowance. It's just a straight thing. So, and then the width I'm actually working with is 2.5, right? So that's what I have right here. And then let's go over to the other part of the skirt. Alright, so you know that the down part of this dress actually have a gathers right here. So what I'm mostly going to be doing is just to measure the circumference of the down part of the skirt. As you can see, I have about 38 inches. So go ahead and times this by 2 or by 1. This depends on your fabric, guys. I have a limited fabric right here. So this is what I have, about 9 inches for the width, and then for the length, I have about um 46 inches. So that's what I'm going to, it's about, there are two, so I'm actually going to join because I didn't have enough fabric, so I had to cut them separate. In total, I had about 4 pieces right here, which I'm just going to join to get a very long rope so that I can just gather it a little bit. So if you have excess fabric, go ahead and measure the circumference and then times it by 2 or 3 or 1 depending on your fabric. All right, so now let's move over to the upper parts of this. This is actually a crop top, okay? So I'm just going to folding my fabric into two, and then I'll be imputing my chest line, bust point, under bust, and then my half length. And when I was done, I'm just going to draw a straight line this way. So if you're familiar with my tutorial, you will know that I'm always doing this process over and over again, especially when I'm not using pattern. But if I'm using pattern, this is what I do. If I'm not using pattern, I beg your pardon. So just go ahead and divide your shoulder by 2, okay? Your shoulder by 2, and then just draw a straight line this way. Okay, so this crop top actually stop at my half length, so I'm just going ahead to put about 2.5 inches extra for like sewing allowance and other necessary foldings. And then when I was done with that, I'm just going to go ahead and divide my bust into 4. So my bust plus 4 inches allowance, then I'll divide it by 4. My bust circumference plus 4 inches, then I'll add that together and divide it by 4. So that's what I did right here. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing to my waist. So when you're done, just connect this point together this way. And do not forget to add your sewing allowance, 1.5 inch. This is actually for a client, so I'm actually making use of 1.5. If it was to be for myself, I'm actually going to be making use of just 1 inch is fine. I already know my measurement, so that's not a problem. Okay, now we are done. Go ahead and slope your shoulder by just 1 inch. If I'm making use of pattern, guys, you guys notice that I normally use 1.5 to slope my shoulder, but because this is freehand, I'm actually making use of 1 inch. So for the width, go ahead and make use of 3.5 by 3.5. This top is actually going to have I don't know what that's called, but I'm just going to divide the front into 2. But you guys will just see. So go ahead and just fold here into 2 and then go in by 1/2 inch, just this way. 1/2 inch or 0.75, because I actually don't want this to have like excess at the armpit area, so I actually went in by 0.75. So go ahead and use 1/2 inch if it's okay by you, but then I noticed that it had a little bit pointy kind of, so I'm just going to blend it this way, as you guys can see. So I'm just sloping that to my bust measurements, and when I was done, I'm just going to cut this out this way. So when you're done with cutting out the front, just go ahead and place the front to the back to cut it out. Just place it this way. So I'm actually going to be adding zip to this is for a client, it's not for me. So but you can as well leave it like this and you wear it comfortably without stressing yourself. But for a client, I'm not so sure, so I decided to add zip to it so she doesn't complain that she can't wear it properly. But I've done this before for myself and I wear it comfortably. I didn't need to add zip to it. So if you're adding zip to it this way, just give 1 inch for zip allowance. So from your half cut, which is your half length, your waist area, go in by half inch just to eliminate the slight bulge that usually appears at the back of your dress or your top. I do not want that, so I'm actually going to eliminate that. Go ahead and then just connect it to the upper part as well so you don't see any bulge. So from that line, that's actually going to serve as where we are going to be attaching our zip. Okay. So the next thing now is just to come down for our neck depth by just 1.5. It's okay. All right. Just 1.5. It's fine. And then just connect it this way. Blend it and then connect it. And we are done basically. Before then, let's just cut this out first and then I'll show you guys the next step. So after cutting that out, go ahead and also divide your zipper part into two. Just notch that part as well. So when we are done, normally the back of our dress usually shorter than the front. I just cut the neck depth for the back, the neckline for the back. So normally the back is usually shorter, so just go ahead and then deduct 1 inch from the back. Just draw a line this way, just 1 inch out, and then I'm actually going to cut this out. If you do not understand what I'm saying, please just watch the video carefully and you will understand, guys. Okay, so we're actually going to make sure that we cut the front as well so that the sides of the side of the front will be equal to the back. So what I'm doing is just to go ahead and then from the side go down by just one, go up by just 1 inch and then cut this out. As you can see, the back and the front sides are equal, right? Good. So now the front actually had a slit. Okay, so this is what I was trying to actually remember what to call it. This is like a slit in the middle. So I'm just measuring like 3 inches. I think it's actually enough. So I'm just going to go ahead and then divide it this way. I feel like 3 wasn't enough later, but I'm just going to go ahead and then add a little slit to it again, making it up to like 4 inches, which is just perfect. So you can see. Now we have about 4 inches here. Just 4 inches is fine. But if you're okay with the 3, it's okay. Cut a facing to it as well and then. So guys, to cut your sleeve, that is your starting point. Fold your fabric into two, mark 5 inches. Mark the length of your sleeve and then mark 5 inches right here. So when you're done with that, just connect it. And now from that part, just draw like a slanted part. I don't know what to call this, but I think just follow exactly what I'm doing. And then from that line, divide this by 2 that way. And then from that place, just go down by ½ inch. My fabric is really colorful, guys, so I really don't know if you guys can see. And then just connect it this way. So more like just follow the shape that you are seeing and then just mark this place. So most of the time what I normally do to make it easy for me, when I already finished sewing the upper part of my sleeve, I will just measure. So this will actually help me to determine the the circumference of the armhole so that I won't have excess, except I actually want to like have gathers at the upper part, then I'll just go ahead and do it and just cut it freely. If not, this is what I just explained is what I normally do. So go ahead and divide the remaining part of your sleeve by two. I'm actually going to be making a full tutorial on how to do this later. Now for the down part, as you can see that the sleeve has more like pointy, and then so from the down part of the sleeve, I'm just going to go down and then slant it. The way you've seen me doing, like since I was explaining other things, I actually did not start from the beginning with the explanation. So if you are watching the video, you could see that, and I went out from the down part of the sleeve and in a slanted way, so that you will see that pointy effect that is actually occurring on the sleeve itself. So just fold this into two to cut. The purpose for doing this is just so that when you are folding to sew, you won't have a shortage. All right, so just go ahead and then fold it this way, and then you just cut it out. By so doing, you won't have any shortage at the end of the day. Remember to add your sewing allowance. Do not forget to add that. Remember to do that, and then just cut this out. Can you see the effects of the pointy effect I'm talking about? The pointy effect. And yeah, it's that easy. So I'm going to place this and cut the second one, so that I have two pieces to get all together for the two sleeves, and then I will join all the pieces together, starting from the skirt to the main bodies. All right, so now if you look at the sleeve, you'll find out that it has an opening down. So I'm just going to measure 7 inches right there and then notch. So that part is where I'm actually going to stop my sewing, so that to have that opening as well on the sleeve. So this is what I have at the end of the day. When I finish joining this together, I just had to place this. I don't have a mannequin, so I hope you guys love this video. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next. Bye. Love you all.